Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Kirk and Spock is platonic love at first sight, says Ethan Peck. Ethan Peck calls Lieutenant Spock, meeting Lieutenant James T. Kirk, Paul Wesley. In Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, Season 2, platonic love at first sight. Spock and Kirk officially meet for the first time in Star Trek's Prime Universe canon in Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 6, Lost in Translation, when they were casually introduced by Ensign Nyota Uhura, Celia Rose Gooding. Kirk and Spock only had fleeting interactions throughout the rest of Strange New Worlds Season 2, but their friendship will continue to be forged in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds Season 3. Screen Rant sat down with Ethan Peck at STLV, Trek to Vegas, for an exclusive interview where Peck gave his insight into the sparking friendship between LT, Spock, and LT, James T. Kirk. Peck discusses the platonic love at first sight Kirk and Spock mutually feel, and hints at how it develops in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds Season 3. Read Ethan's quote below. Well, I would describe it as platonic love at first sight. I love this. I read this article recently, an op-ed. I can't remember the author, but the basic concept was we talk about love at first sight as an only romantic sort of idea. And I love it, as was expressed in this article, that it can be platonic, right? You meet that buddy, friend, whatever. It's like, yeah, us. Like, this makes sense, you know? And I think that kind of occurs in that moment when they meet in Season 2. Introduced, of course, by Uhura, played by Celia Gooding. Paul and I have great chemistry off camera, and I think that that's going to work its way into our work together. And I'm very excited for it to be seen. J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, 2009, made James T. Kirk, Chris Pine, and Spock, Zachary Quinto, antagonists before they teamed up to save Earth from the Romulan Nero, Eric Bana, in the alternate Kelvin timeline. Kirk and Spock were literally at each other's throats in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, but it made sense to pump up the drama in a 2-hour summer blockbuster. Kirk and Spock's friendship was further explored in the sequels Star Trek Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond. But Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, has considerably more time delve into Kirk and Spock's platonic love at first sight. In the Star Trek universe, relationships between characters are often as significant as the cosmic adventures they embark on. One of the most enduring and beloved bonds in Star Trek lore is that between Captain James T. Kirk and his Vulcan First Officer, Spock. Their relationship has inspired generations of fans. And in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, a prequel series set before the events of the original 1960s series, the foundations of this famous friendship are explored in greater depth. Actor Ethan Peck, who portrays Spock, has described this bond as platonic love at first sight, a phrase that resonates deeply with both the characters' legacies and the evolving nature of their connection in modern storytelling. To truly appreciate the gravity of Peck's statement, it's important to reflect on the unique dynamic between Kirk and Spock, which has always stood out as an iconic example of mutual respect, understanding, and unwavering loyalty. In the original Star Trek series, their relationship was a harmonious blend of Kirk's bold, impulsive leadership and Spock's logical, measured intellect. It was a partnership built on contrasts, yet rooted in a profound understanding of one another. The phrase platonic love at first sight captures this immediate and deep-seated connection, one that transcends typical friendship and dives into a space where emotional and intellectual companionship thrives without the need for romantic undertones. Ethan Peck, taking on the monumental task of portraying Spock, originally played by the legendary Leonard Nimoy, has had to navigate the complexities of this iconic character. Spock is a figure divided between his Vulcan logic and his human emotion, and in Strange New Worlds, we see him earlier in his journey, still grappling with these two sides of his identity. The Spock of this series is younger, less seasoned, and perhaps more emotionally raw, which gives his first encounters with Kirk a different texture from what fans of the original series might expect. When Peck speaks of platonic love at first sight, it's not just a clever turn of phrase. It speaks to the way these characters are drawn to one another on an intrinsic level. From Spock's perspective, Kirk represents a kind of human unpredictability and emotional intelligence that fascinates him. For Kirk, Spock's unshakable calm and his commitment to logic make him a grounding force, someone who can bring balance to his more impulsive tendencies. There's a sense that these two, even when meeting for the first time, immediately recognize in one another something they didn't know they were looking for. A partner who complements their weaknesses and enhances their strengths. In Strange New Worlds, The showrunners had the opportunity to explore this relationship in a new light, emphasizing the formative stages of what will become one of the most legendary partnerships in science fiction. Fans of the original series know where the story ultimately leads, but the prequel setting allows for a deeper exploration of how these two icons of Starfleet learn to trust, respect, and care for one another. There's a certain magic in watching their relationship develop, knowing that it will grow into something profound that will withstand the test of time and space. The term platonic love is particularly significant here. In modern popular culture, love is often depicted in romantic or sexual terms, but the bond between Kirk and Spock is a reminder that love comes in many forms. Their relationship embodies a kind of pure, unselfish love that is focused on shared values, mutual admiration, and an unbreakable bond of friendship. The idea of love at first sight typically conjures romantic connotations, but in this context, it underscores the immediate recognition of a kindred spirit, someone with whom you share an unspoken understanding. For Peck, embodying Spock means capturing the essence of this deep connection while also portraying a version of the character who is still evolving. In Strange New Worlds, Spock isn't yet the fully formed officer seen in the original series. He is still learning how to navigate his complex emotions, especially when it comes to his human side. This gives his interactions with Kirk added weight, as Spock's burgeoning friendship with the future captain plays a crucial role in shaping the man he will eventually become. It's also worth noting that the idea of platonic love at first sight resonates strongly with Star Trek's broader themes of diversity, inclusion, and the power of human connection. The relationship between Kirk and Spock isn't bound by cultural, racial, or species-based limitations. Instead, it transcends those barriers, showing that even in a galaxy filled with alien species and interstellar conflicts, the bonds that unite individuals are universal. As Strange New Worlds continues to explore these early days of Kirk and Spock's relationship, fans will no doubt be eager to see how their bond evolves. Ethan Peck's description of their connection as platonic love at first sight offers a fresh yet deeply familiar lens through which to view their friendship, one that celebrates the enduring power of companionship, loyalty, and mutual respect. It's a love story, but not in the traditional sense. It's a story of two souls, each incomplete in some way, finding in one another the person who makes them whole. For Peck, embodying Spock means capturing the essence of this deep connection, while also portraying a version of the character who is still evolving. In Strange New Worlds, Spock isn't yet the fully formed officer seen in the original series. He is still learning how to navigate his complex emotions, especially when it comes to his human side. This gives his interactions with Kirk added weight, as Spock's burgeoning friendship with the future captain plays a crucial role in shaping the man he will eventually become. It's also worth noting that the idea of platonic love at first sight resonates strongly with Star Trek's broader themes of diversity, inclusion, and the power of human connection. The relationship between Kirk and Spock isn't bound by cultural, racial, or species-based limitations. Instead, it transcends those barriers, showing that even in a galaxy filled with alien species and interstellar conflicts, the bonds that unite individuals are universal. As Strange New Worlds continues to explore these early days of Kirk and